Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Episode 117 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. The show that is covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports from institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike is back from assignment, so we'll get to bring it hot and heavy today, I imagine. We are filming from our home studio and sending a signal live to our Kingsway's 12:30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, Ralph Cooper, in beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency LLC. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. With that, welcome back, Mike. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. How about you, Charles?
I'm hanging in there, Dr. Cavil, enjoying the post Saturday and Sunday shows and I tell you what, this spring has been very, very busy.
Yeah, just a little bit, huh? Just
no doubt.
Let me welcome in some of these great people that are jumping on here, showing us some love. Chantel Fleming, how about those Aggies? Yeah, they continue to get it done. Willie Alex Hines, good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday night, lecture time once again. Richmond, Virginia, CIAA in the house. Reed is on here. What's up, guys? I heard Dion just created a new classic for us. I think I heard he's going to call it the Boom Block Classic. What is it? Boombox Classic. This looks good, feels good. These folks are crazy. Reggie House, lay in the house. Reginald Johnson, I love restoring the roar. Reggie says, good evening, gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Kay Johnson, good evening. Time for the welcome lecture. Let's go. That's right. Let's go. Chuck Hunt, Ricky Burton, Arby Parker. Ricky says, what's up? Rough season, but still repping the G. I like that. That's right. Up and down. Get it done. James Knox, Keith Martin, ready for the lecture. Alan Malone. Everybody's in the house. Let's go. Joseph Anthony Goodwin, Robert E. Smith, Alan Malone, Kay Johnson, Belinda Johnson, Rob Keenan, Alan Malone, A.D. Man, we're deep. Frederick V. Roberts. Brother Roberts on here. Robert E. Jackson. How about those Jags? Yes, big bounce back game. Boy, they put Texas Southern. Man, I don't even know what to say. Belinda Johnson, the Braves representing. I see you. Y'all keep them coming. George Walker. Joseph Anthony Goodwin representing Alabama A&M. You got a big one this weekend. Chad Cooper's in the house. Keep them coming, and we'll reach back out and give some more shout outs. Y'all keep the comments, the good ones and the ones that we get a chance in between different discussions. We try to represent. And if you have some questions you want to answer, let me know, especially during this segment when we bring you the news. We might be able to get into it a little bit before we get into our interview coming up in the first half of the show. And then we even have a surprise. We'll have another interview just to give you an update on some baseball in these parts in the second half of the show. With that, let me go straight to Mike since he hasn't had the mic in a while. Make sure he gets his allotment of time. He's looking like he wants some attention. So let me make sure we give it to him, Charles. What you got? What you got, Mike?
Well, Mike always, I'm going to read the title for you. PVAMU Bowling overcomes JSU for 5th SWAC tourney title in program history.
You couldn't
read that
one, could you?
PVAMU Bowling overcomes JSU for the 5th SWAC tournament title in program history. Congratulations to the Lady Panthers. They claimed the 2021 SWAC Women's Bowling Championship. So they're led by their MVP, Patricia Rosales, along with all tournament selections, Asia Wren and Crystal Klein. The Lady Panthers defeated Jackson State 4-2 in match 10 of the tournament to force an 11th and deciding match. In all seriousness, Charles, messing with you. Great match. Seemed like they were going neck and neck, but PVAMU won the match by identical margin 4-2 as the Lady Panthers went on to win their second consecutive post title. So that gives them a title. In 2019 and 2021, with an overall 16-4 league record, the Lady Panthers won the 3rd straight regular season during the 2020-2021 campaign. It was also the 4th regular season conference championship in 5 years for this program. Congratulations to not only the Lady Panthers, but Coach Glenn White on their performance.
Big time, boy. Rings and things going on. Not at Prairie View.
On sure Panthers 1876, the title of our show was Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, is that right?
No, Fellowship of the Rings, sorry.
Oh, yeah. James Knox says it's SWAC's world. We just trying to get some love. VUU for life. Virginia Union University.
Oh, okay.
Hill Ely. Yeah, I like that. Hill Ely. Dr. Hill Ely is an alumni of Virginia Union University and a man of Omega Psi Phi reverends out there. I've seen some looks at there representing the Virginia Union and talking a little bit about that HBCU history. I thought that was pretty classic. have one other question, and then I'll go to you, Charles, for an update. Reggie Howe says, how did the HBCU schools with the NCAA basketball game from the money payout? Well, each conference, once they get in the tournament and play a game, they get a credit, which is worth about 1.56 or 1.6 million right now. Then if you win a game, you get a second credit. And you get that money over 6 years. So it doubles. So instead of the Swac just getting their 1.6, if you would, just to round it off, and the MEAC as well, since they won their first 4 games, both conferences get that dual credit. So they're getting about 3.2 or right under $3.2 million over the next 6 years. And remember, it was just a couple of years ago when Texas Southern won. So that 6-year payment is not over. So there's going to be some laps where where the Swac is going to be extremely healthy and well paid in regards to what they'll be able to do with that a bunch of money. So keep them coming. We'll sneak them in there here and there between our breaks. With that, let me go to Charles to see what type of news that he wants to share with the people.
Well, sure thing. Kudos, number one, to Prairie winning that bowling championship. Kudos, as Chantel Fleming puts it in the chat. Kudos to the North Carolina A&T Lady Aggies. They're the 2021 MEAC bowling champions. So definitely want to give shout outs to both programs. Today, the Swac announces spring football TV schedule updates. So the Swac has announced updates to its 2021 spring football schedule. So now Southern at Jackson State is scheduled for Saturday, April 3rd, will be carried live on ESPN with a 4 o'clock Central Standard Time kickoff. And Alabama A&M at Jackson State will be scheduled for Saturday, April 10th. And it also will be carried live on ESPN with a 2 o'clock kickoff. So those are the flex changes there from ESPN bumping up to the big ESPN there. Big national audience.
Big time. Yeah, those games again being flexed, that's a big deal when Charles were able to renegotiate at least part of that in terms of the spring agreement. That's big, and we see it paying off dividends. The fans are doing what they need to do to make sure that these games are being watched at a high level. So much interest from YouTube in terms of being rebroadcast. ESPN talk shows are just going in, the news sites, whether it's HBCU Game Day, HBCU Sports, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram with pictures, a lot of lively chat all across HBCUs, but specifically for the SWAC right now. They said it's all about the SWAC. Great point. It's hot right now going on. So a lot of good information there. Karen Griffin, hello from Southern California. Want to make sure we get some of that love there in terms of Southern California. So a great point made there. Want to share that a little bit. With that being said, let me ship it back to Mike in terms of giving me some additional updates as well.
Yeah, this just in from the MEAC, 13 football players representing the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Member institutions are currently scheduled to take part in the NFL's HBCU Combine. You may have remembered a couple of weeks ago, we announced the creation and the launch of the HBCU Combine. The Combine was set to take place April 9th through the 10th at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Last year's HBCU Combine was canceled because of COVID-19, and this year's version is currently slated to feature 42 athletes total, encompassing both 2020 and 2021 draft classes. So the MEAC athletes are defensive back Trevor Merritt from Bethune-Cookman, wide receiver running back Jimmy Robinson, quarterback Aquavius Williams, also from Bethune-Cookman, from Delaware State, defensive lineman Brandon Carswell, from Florida A&M, wide receiver Marcus Williams, from Morgan State, linebackers Rico Kennedy and Ian McBurrow, Norfolk State, linebacker Nigel Chavis, and Near Quinerly, if I hopefully I said that young man's name right. North Carolina A&T State had two. Of course, they had wide receiver Elijah Bell, defensive back Mac McCain III, and then North Carolina Central had defensive lineman Darius Royster, and last but not least, South Carolina State has defensive lineman Tyrell Goodwin. Of course, that's not the all-encompassing list. It's 42 athletes in total, but the MEAC has posted their athletes as of today.
Nice touch, nice touch. Let me shout out to Fred Whitted. I got his book. He showed me some love, HBCU Heritage Center. This is his book, Football History. You got to update HBCU, if you would, Black College Sports Encyclopedia. Has a lot of great information that, I dig to when I need to go in the treasure trap a little bit. Shout out to Herbert Bolden, Alan Malone, as we said, Sarah Beverly, just to give some more shout outs there in terms of our fans checking us out, getting it in. Let me go back to Charles, see if he got some other news that he wants to share.
Sure. Well, let's take a look at our SWAC Football Weekly honors. SWAC has named Alabama State's Ezra Gray and Ryan Nettles, Arkansas Pine Bluff Skylar Perry, and Isaac Peppers, and Southern Shaky Thomas as the SWAC Football Players of the Week for their outstanding performances during conference play this past weekend. Let's take a look at the co-offensive players. Ezra Gray, he rushed for 195 yards on 23 carries, 3 touchdowns during Alabama State's 35-28 nationally ranked win over Jackson State. Gray scored on the game winner of a 50-yard run from the scrimmage with 1:29 remaining in that game. We take a look at Skylar Perry. He went 18 of 30, set career highs in passing yards, 346, and touchdown passes, 4 in UAPB's 48-21 win at Grambling. It was the program's first win over Grambling since 2013, Dr. Bill. Defensively, we take a look at Isaac Peppers. He made a season high 10 tackles with career highs in sacks, 2 and forced fumbles, 2 with 1 pass breakup in Arkansas Pine Bluff's 48-21 win at Grambling. And then the specialists, we'll take a look at Shaky Thomas. He had 130 kick return yards on 3 kickoffs, 1 for a touchdown in Southern's 51-23 win over Texas Southern. So, and then our newcomer of the week is Ryan Nettles from Alabama State. He finished today 27 of 42, 257 yards on a pair of touchdowns over Jackson State. So kudos to all those young men for their SWAC weekly honors.
Yeah, let me get a shout out to Alan Malone, a top fan, as we have it. Willie out of time, one of our top fans as well. He said that JSU was good TV. Great point made there. I'm gonna save you a little bit, Charles. I know you making sure you get the football news out there, and that's always good. JSU wins SWAC volleyball regular season championship.
I was getting there.
Oh, all right. I was wondering when you go.
I was wondering what.
I was getting there.
I was wondering. I thought he was going to lead off with that one.
Hey, that was championship 153 for Jackson State.
He trying not to be a homer, but he's like, let me stir the pot, see how long it's gonna take. I didn't want to get too close to our interview and miss it because they wouldn't give you enough payback if you didn't make sure you got that out there. With that, Mike, let me go back with you as we got a couple of minutes before we get into this interview. What other news that you want to share today?
Yeah, I want to give. Since we're giving love to everybody, I want to give some love to the GCAC.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Gulf Coast Athletic Conference.
Well, as you know, as we announced last week, they actually you talking
about them adding Fisk last week?
Yeah, they added Fisk last week. And they also have, their set of weekly honors. So we'll start, with they've honored attack and defenders for the volleyball team. So I want to give them a chance. Dillard's Chloe Young as well makes her 4th appearance in this week, while Rihanna Burrows and Sheila Bradley claim their first GCAC Volleyball Players of the Week awards. So Burrows has 6.1 kills, 65 total. So of course, the two leaders being Chloe and Burrows are from the Mobile, Alabama area. So I want to congratulate those 2 areas, attack and setters. So in getting those what you call kills. So lots of honors going around to the GCAC volleyball teams as well. So And again, congratulations to Fisk on joining the GCAC.
No doubt about it. Great information. I think we have our first guest of the day. We have none other than the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff UAPB head football coach, Coach Doc Gamble, joining us on Inside the Lab. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How about you? How about yourself?
Man, it's good.
Welcome in, Coach.
First time. Excited, Coach.
Right. Glad. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's our pleasure. And well-deserved, man. The season has gotten off to a great start. Before we get into it, since you were named the coach coming into the spring, tell us a little bit about your background before we get into some of the football talk there for those that may not know much about you, Coach.
Oh, okay. Well, from Cincinnati, Ohio. Played at University of Tennessee at Martin. I always say that guys tend to say Midwestern down south. I say, well, I spent most of my life down south. My family's from the south, and made our way up to Cincinnati, and spent a lot of my summers in Mississippi, and got my education in the south. So I guess I'm a Southern guy. I got Southern in my blood, so to speak. So
Not about
it. Spent a lot of, and then in coaching too. Spent all my recruiting everywhere I've been. I've been one of the guys who recruited out of the South. But anyway, I've been prior to coming here, I was at Kent State University. Prior to that, I was I was at Alcorn State for a year. Prior to that, I head high school coach. I spent time before that. I was at East Carolina University, D3 college coach as well. And I was at the University of Cincinnati also with Butch Jones and that crew. So I've been around, and I actually got started coaching at University of Tennessee Martin, where I played at as a student assistant, and I was going to go into coaching. And then, so that's a little bit about me, so I've been a college guy, high school guy, and now back in college.
Well, it's good to have you back in the SWAC. Obviously, your track record in terms of, as you said, what you do for recruiting. Cincinnati, obviously, Alcorn, we've seen what they've done over the past couple of years. Now we try to tell folks about the resurgence of Pine Bluff, and obviously the proof is in the pudding thus far this season. So what you've been recruiting has really been nice.
Yeah, we and just to go back, I was on the staff with Jay Hobson, Fred McNair, Willie Simmons, Cedric Thomas. We were all there together at the same time. That was that first staff, so that was
I remember.
Staff. I mean, it was a really nice staff.
Wow,
it was the first one to fly the coop, to fly the guy out of the nest. But we were all there together at one point. Man,
just think about some of the names you just dropped.
Yeah,
those folks are head coaches now.
Yeah.
Or had been head coaches.
Yeah.
That's amazing when you talk about what was going on in Alcorn. And it makes sense now when you talk about the success they have. And so appreciate sharing a little bit of that insight for viewers here. And they always like to really find out a little bit about the background. So let's get into the most recent game. Obviously, before this last weekend, you went down to Pine Bluff. So over the last couple of weeks, you went to two of the toughest places in terms of overall winning percentage and tradition, and you got in the victories. The last one was really impressive, 48-21, as you know, over Pine Bluff and Grambling. Skylar Perry is really playing well. But it's tough to just name a couple of players, because when you start getting into the numbers with your wide receivers, what you're doing rushing, you have so many players that are really playing well. We just seen by the accolades this past week in terms of the SWAC. And that's just on the offense. You start talking about the defense. They're also just playing well. Did you have the kind of confidence coming into the season that the team was ready to make that turning point and actually get it done on the field? The talent was there, but now we're seeing it on the field.
Well, I tell you what, we when I was handed the position, or when I got the position, we knew we had some pieces, and we just wanted to make sure that we were able to keep it together, and so we could put the puzzle together. And it wasn't really hard to do because of it was kind of hard because we had to a coach leave and then they promote me, but I was a familiar face, so that kind of helped out a whole lot, and but we knew we had something to work with, you know, we lost some close games in 19. And then we won the last one. We just wanted to build upon that, you know, and that's what we want to do, was keep that going. And then just for me, I was telling, I said, yeah, we got a parade. Everybody ready to celebrate, have a parade because we won 6 and 5. And I'm like, for 6 and 5 now, that just needs to just be an average year from here on out, you know. So that, I mean, you know, that's not,
let it be said.
That's right. So we just said we're gonna up the standard now. You know, we need to start talking about winning all the time, and really, that's what my conversation is. You know, like I say, I don't have any. Let's win one. I mean, let's, you know, all right, guys, we played well. You know, everything I talk about is winning. So, and you got to do it. You got to do it, and you know, you got Southern and Grambling have been the class of the West, and you know, and they've learned how to win. They've been doing it for a long time. So, and to me, as far as us getting our program to where they are, that's not a bad thing at all. You know, and that's what the expectation is to be at the top and to stay there once we get there. So we just don't, you know, we're gonna play hard, and we got to say, we say, hey, go empty the bucket, you know, and then we let the chips fall the way they may. So, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I've heard of some of your tricks in the trade of what you do during practice all week. You're getting ready for the Grambling game. Maybe a little later before we get out of here, you might share some of that. But I understand if you want to keep that in your pocket there. But I heard that was how you motivate a team. Seriously, I really appreciate hearing some of the backstories of what you're able to do and you're seeing it play out. With that, let me let Charles jump in here and follow up with a question.
Oh, first of all, Coach Gamble, congratulations on being Louisiana State champs. Number one. So
thank you.
So I wanted to follow up on that, and you kind of touched on a little bit. The program was 6 and 5 last year, and you start the season off with these big wins over Southern and Grambling. Within that 6 and 5 season, could you kind of see the pendulum swinging in Pine Bluff's direction, where you knew you had the talent to compete and win these games?
Well, for us, it was just falling back and looking back at the 19 season and reminding guys how close we were. You know, we played Southern pretty tough for about a half, you know, in 19. We played Grambling down to the last play. You know, they made more and more play than us. And then you just fall back on that and say, hey, do you remember that? And do you really think that they were that much better than you? You know, but the thing that you had to know that I had to relate to them guys is the reason they won because they knew how to win. And they typically won those type of games. You can see their pedigree, you know, especially in close games. And, you know, so, and it got to a point when I think I've harped on them so much, it got to the point when we got a good lead against Southern, then they started making a run, and it started hitting me in the back of my mind. Okay, now here it comes. All right, they're going to make their run. And, hey, but the kids didn't think about it like that, you know. Sure. So just, hey, we need to make a play, and we're going to make it. So, and they did. So, but that's just we've been able to teach from the previous 2 years to now, and be able to reach back and pull some things from the past that's helped us learn how to get to where we are today, you know. And actually, I had to do a little bit extra motivation today at practice, you know. So I always tell them, I say, college football now is what have you done for me lately? Now, what happened last week is last week. So this is what have you done for me lately business, and you got to show up and go, you know. So you got to show up every week, you know, especially in Swac now. You know, the only off week you have is when you don't have a team on your schedule that week, you know. So, but every week you got to show up and play. It don't matter who you're playing from top to bottom.
No doubt, no doubt.
That's a great point when you talk about it. And since 2019, think about this, Charles and Mike. Tennessee State, Southern, and Grambling. Those are the victories to the credit since 2019 over some of the blue bloods, as people would say. Yeah. So yeah, things going in the right direction, I say, for Pine Bluff. Y'all don't know, y'all might want to watch this game this Saturday when they strap it up against Alabama State. That's going to be a good one. 3 of the last 4 at home. With that, Mike, jump in here and ask a follow-up question.
Yeah, Coach Doc Gamble, I'd like to also just say thanks for coming on the show and congratulations.
Thank you.
My question is this. You know, last year, I think Charles alluded to it, you were 6 and 5. We saw glimpses of the team kind of turning that corner to kind of be the upper echelon in the SWAC West. Talk to us, if you will, about the seemingly more of the integration of the receiving game, or more balance between the receiving game and the offense, and how you really integrated Harry Ballard III and Josh Wilkes, and even the tight end Jeremy Brown, into this offense to more balance it with the run, to have a really formidable offense. Of course, you're leading the SWAC in offense, but what have you done with this offense to really turn this corner and make this a juggernaut offense?
That's easy. We tell them Taylor Porter's not here with us anymore. He graduated. We were going to pound Taylor Porter until he couldn't run anymore. So he's not gone. I mean, he's gone right now. But the other part about it too, Harry's been good since he's gotten on campus. Josh Wilkes has been good since he's gotten on campus. Josh has just hadn't played a lot of football due to some injury, but Harry's been consistent. He was all SWAC performer. So, but those guys have been here. So to me, guys are asking questions about him now, but I say Harry's been here since day one now, and he's been balling since day one. So for us to, my biggest worry was it going to be enough footballs for those guys out there? Not only you have Harry, you had, DeJuan Miller was a freshman, got freshman SWAC recognition his freshman year. You got Tyron Ralph, in there. So we got a crew. And we do a lot. I just tell them guys, don't get bored with being good, so they challenge each other every day. And then we got a good secondary where they go at it with each other every day. So as iron sharpens iron every single day, we had somebody out at practice and it was wow, we didn't know, So right now we know that we got that crew, to be honest with you, it's the next guy in, and that's what we got to get to, where the next guy in is still performing at the level of a Harry Ballard, Josh Wilkes, Tyron Ralph, and DeJuan Miller, so and we still trying to develop the next Taylor Porter, and they just got some young, we just got some young guys right now, so back there with that stable. So, and then to be honest with you too, the other thing, big deal is it starts up front. We got two good ones on the left side, and we got a pleasant surprise with the center. We got a great. We already know about Marcus and AJ Smith, and then pleasant surprise with Eric Jones at center, Noah Hayes at the right tackle, and Jordan Mack at the right guard. So it's been pretty good. But to be honest with you too, is I feel better when I go home at night when we struggle against the defense, because I know defensively we're getting done. So and that's been real good for us.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Last question here, Coach. As you talk about it, each week now is just a serious matchup in the SWAC. For the fans, extremely exciting to watch it with these type of games. And then in the fall, obviously, you have FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. I'm not going to ask you that. If you find time, we'd love to bring you back on the show once you finish the season, because I know coaches, you want to focus on what's next.
Yeah.
What's next is Alabama State that came off a big win against Jackson State. Tell us a little bit, what are you looking at? What are you seeing on film in regards to Alabama State, or at least what you can share? We don't want you to share your secrets, but you can one.
Everybody saw the game last week. It's no secrets. They're a good football team. They're stingy on defense, and they've been getting it done on offense. Ezra Gray, that's a guy now. So quarterbacks played well. They're doing it with the guys up front as well. It's a good football team. So I kind of joke is really a couple guys in this conference that I know. I know Fred, of course, because I work with him, and then I know Coach Hill. I said this way. I think I mentioned it earlier. I probably won't get. Hill probably won't get a text from me, and I know he ain't gonna text me this week. So over there, because the guys do a good job. They do a good job, and you can see it last week, and they gonna play you down to the wire. So it'll be a good contest this weekend.
Well, we look forward to watching it. That's a 7:00 ESPN3 game. Kudos for what you're doing with the product. Before we let you go, is anything that you want to say to the Golden Line fans out there? And before I say that, while the team is talented, I would say if people are not paying attention, you got the best wide receiver core, not just in the SWAC, but at the FCS level in terms of what they're doing as a collective group. And you got some individuals that we're not careful with seeing them on Sunday in terms of NFL, so keep your eyes on them. But anything you want to say to your fan base in regards to those that follow us?
Well, just continue to support us, and we're gonna continue to play hard. We're gonna play as hard as we can. We're gonna empty the bucket every time we go out and play. And we got another motto that hangs right above our door. It says, I will give my all for the Golden Lions today. So, and that's what they're gonna get.
No doubt about it. Please give thanks and a shout out to Dwayne Lewis. He's really good in terms of making sure that we get an opportunity to talk to yourself like that. So thank him for making sure that we got an opportunity to talk with you. Good luck as you continue with the season, and we'd love to have an opportunity to talk again.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, Coach. This
Thanks,
is
Coach.
the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We're going to take a break. Stick with us, and we'll come up with the second half of the show.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Ave's record. 202 and 36, I think, some off-the-wall figures.
And nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. Whites were sitting in the west stands, and the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we wasn't inferior, that we were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we was better than them.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
We talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. As we get back into it, let's jump right back into the poll rankings, and then we'll see if there's some other additional news you might want to share. But before we get into our next interview, which is going to give you some information on baseball, some updates, some big games up in the North Dallas area. Be fascinating when you talk about the Frisco and that nice state-of-art baseball facility they have up there, Minor League Park. There's some good baseball being played up there.
Absolutely.
Hey, with that, let me get you into this. This is the final poll ranking for the women's basketball after conclusion of this season. Receiving votes is Alabama A&M Bulldogs, 10-7, 8-5 with 30 votes. Grambling State Tigers, 10-10 on the season, 8-6 in terms of what they did in the conference play with 39 votes. And just outside of the top five are Southern Jaguars, 12-11, 11-4 with 44 votes. No team dropped out this week, so you have your top five programs. And in terms of this final ranking, you have number 5, Morgan State Bears, come in at number 5 at 12-4, 8-2, 46 points. Bringing us to number 4. Slight change here. They dropped a spot. Previously, the rank 3 was Howard Bison, 15-4, 10-2 is how they end the season with 80 points. And number 3, Alabama State Hornets. They jumped up a spot from number 4 last week in this final poll ranking, 16-4, 14-3 with 81 points, bringing us to number 2. North Carolina A&T State Aggies finished the season at 14-3, 9-1, 4 first place votes, 89 points, remain at number 2. The number 1 team, Jack State Tigers, getting it done in the regular season and the postseason over a tough Alabama State team. So they had 2 out of 3 of the victories against what is now the number 3 ranked team for a final season of 18-6, 14-1, 5 first place votes, 92 points. Playing Baylor was a tough one, as Aggies played North Carolina State and represented really well in that matchup. But Jackson State gets it done in terms of the women's basketball poll ranking. Let me go to Mike first. What are your thoughts on the final poll rankings?
Oh, no, I think you got it right. The top 3 as they were. I think you got it right at the end of the day. Alabama State played very tough. They, couple of ball swings, they could have been playing in the tournament, but I think you got it right. Jackson State, congratulations to them and that program, and Coach Reed as well.
Yeah, they're really playing well. 2 consecutive years with the Swac regular season championship. Obviously couldn't defend the tournament championship because there was no tournament last year, so a little different there. But we'll see moving forward. It gets interesting when we go from 10 to 12 teams, bringing in Bethune-Cookman, who did not play this season, but the last time they were on the hardwood, they brought home a MEAC championship. So you're talking about adding to the treasure chest on the women's side. Just amazing. With that, Charles, what's your thoughts in terms of the top 5 of the women's final poll?
I agree with Mike. I think these were, I thought, the best 5 teams during the course of the season. And you touched on the stat there, beating Alabama State 3 times, 2 out of 3 times this season was huge. So I thought Alabama State had a very, very formidable team. So I think you got this one right. North Carolina A&T and Howard were I thought the best teams over there in the MEAC. But Jackson State definitely number 1 in this final ranking. Couldn't agree more. So that would mean they are Dr. Cavil's HBCU national champion.
Absolutely.
That's what it means. That's what it means.
All right, just checking. I'm gonna make sure I'll send this over to Jackson State and make sure Dennis Driscoll gets this information. So.
That's exactly what it means. So I appreciate you making sure that
you just had to slide that one in, didn't you, Charles?
Well, I'm just saying, I got the bowling one to start the day off. So.
Oh man, this is good. All right, for the men's final, week 12, receiving votes: Florida A&M Rattlers 8-12, 7-5, 12 first place votes. As we said, they enter into the SWAC next year. Grambling Tigers finish out the season 500 at 12-12, 9-6 in the conference race. Coppin State Eagles 9-13, 8-4. Just outside of the top 5 is North Carolina A&T State Aggies 11-10, 7-1. Unfortunately, they didn't play in the MEAC tournament because of COVID protocol, so they didn't get a chance to improve a lot, really. But let's bring it to the top 5 programs here on the men's side in terms of what's going on here. Number 5, Morgan State Bears, 14-8, 7-5, 52 points, finish at 5. You have Jackson State Tigers at number 4, 12-6, 11-0, 1 first place vote for 70 points. You had number 3, Norfolk State Spartans at 17-8, 8-4, 2 first place votes, 77 points. And number 2, you have Prairie A&M that jumps over Norfolk State in terms of their final ranking, 16-5, 13-0, 2 first place votes, just edging out Norfolk State for their second spot. In a lot of ways, 2 of the 3 victories were over Texas Southern, the number 1 team that gets it done. Texas Southern Tigers 17-9, 10-3, 4 first place votes, I should say, 96 points with a number 1 ranking as they remain there as both Norfolk State and Texas Southern, who said earlier, got it done in the tournament to get their vote. With that, let me start with Charles this time. What are your thoughts on the top 5 for the men's final poll rank?
Well, no trips to Norfolk anytime soon. So I think that was a tough one, 2 and 3 with Print PV in Norfolk. But I'll go with you on that. Prairie was, I think, one of the dominant teams in the SWAC offseason, just came up short in the SWAC tournament. But Texas Southern, they get it done again. Can't say enough about them. They played big when it was time to play big.
No doubt about it. I think your point. I think you could flip Norfolk State or Prairie View number 2. I think with Prairie View playing the bulk of their games in the conference, is what edged them out over Norfolk State. The divisional hurt them to some degree. I heard it hurt them in seeding as well. Then you have the point that while Norfolk State, they shared a championship of the North Division of the teams that were playing, while Prairie View shared it with Jackson State in terms of the regular season. So it'll be interesting. Wouldn't that be a nice matchup to start off the season? Or,
yes.
part of the non-conference season to see Prairie and Norfolk State line it up. Prairie and Texas Southern got it on for a home and away several years ago, and both of those games were really good games. The one here in Houston certainly was. With that, let me get your final thoughts, Mike, before we go to our next interview.
No, I agree with both your comments. I think Norfolk State, you could, switch them out with Prairie View. I think they looked at the schedule that both teams played during the year. Prairie View did have the advantage of playing more of their games. They also played TSU twice. So, and beat TSU 2 out of 3 times. Unfortunately, that third time was the one that counted. TSU brought the Thunder when it counted the most in the SWAC championship game. So, hats off to Texas Southern University. Hats off to Prairie View and Norfolk State on a season. I wonder what would have happened had North Carolina A&T been able to.
Yeah.
That will be the remaining question for me. They looked good, at least, statistically. And unfortunately, they had that unfortunate circumstance. I just will always wonder how they would have fared, going into the tournament.
7-1 in conference play. It would have been interesting with A&T in the tournament. So that was a tough break for them. But that's one of those lingering things that you're going to have in the back of your head. I wonder if, A&T could have made that run in the MEAC tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be one of those things that goes down with the ages of just getting that question in a lot of ways. Any other final thoughts on the basketball poll ranking? Final poll ranking.
I take my hats off to all the athletes. I mean, they really fought through during the crux of this in the winter months, and we had some cancellations, but I take my hats off to all the student athletes for mustering through the most trying of seasons. And I think it's one of those seasons we're going to all remember, not having any fans in the stands, but they somehow got the season done. So hats off.
I tip my hat to the two, in addition to the league, to the SWAC as well. They had some stumbles. They had games postponed. The SWAC had a plan. They had to adjust at times, go with, be flexible, and they were able to get this season accomplished in a professional manner. Yes, you didn't have all the crowds there. You didn't have the bands there, but the SWAC put a program together, and so did the institution. They bought into that plan. So kudos and hats off to the SWAC and all of the member institutions of the SWAC as well.
Exactly.
Great points made by both. Now on to our next interview. Prentiss Hill. Erwin Hill is here of the VCSG360.org, giving us some love and shine again. Well, since basketball is officially over, I guess we can get into baseball with the ping of the bats at the college level. With that, we have upcoming this weekend is the State Fair Diamond Classic and the Lone Star Diamond. It ought to be some fun in North Texas, up there in the Frisco area. VCSG 360, if you remember, is the nation's largest organization exclusively representing the Black college community. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. How you brothers doing this evening?
Man,
we're good. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Doing fine, man.
He's busy. He's busy.
That's it. That's the definition right now. I'm so busy, man. I caught a flight out of Jacksonville, Florida this morning. And as soon as I landed in DFW's airport, man, I've been on one call after another. But very excited about the success of the inaugural Jack's Diamond Classic down in Jacksonville, Florida, featuring Edward Waters College and Savannah State, our great partners down there with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Man, it was a great ball game. I'm not sure if you guys were able to catch the highlights, man, but the home team in the bottom of the eighth had a grand slam home run to pull ahead and take the lead and end up winning the game 7-4. So we had a lot.
Hey, check this out. We got a little surprise for you. Watch this. We're going to sneak this in on you for you. Since you mentioned it.
Well, he's 0 for the day. Coach probably told him, well, go up there and be aggressive, shake it off. So he saw something he liked and he went after it.
1 ball, 1 strike to the plate. There's a shot. To
That
right.
It could be.
Right field. Grand slam. Caden Frankie, yes, sir. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella. A grand slam over the right field wall puts EWC up 7-4.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out to Brian and AD on the call.
Wow. Yes, Brian and AD bringing it. Hey, man, that's a lot of excitement. If you're going to bring anything close to that in Frisco, between these classic matchups in a conference affair that are playing in a minor league ballpark, you got Southern, Arkansas Pine Bluff, you got Prairie and Grambling, you're trading the football classic that just played a couple of weeks that's usually playing in the fall, you're trading that in for the dirt, the bat, the diamond, and you're going to find a way to rekindle some of that information that came between Southern and Jaguars that just had a classic on the football field in a lot of ways as down went Southern. So, man, if this is exciting, this is crazy. Let me give the schedule, at least for the Arkansas Pine Bluff part of that. Friday, March 26th, they play at 1 o'clock. On Saturday, March 27th, they play at 6 o'clock. On Sunday, they play at 12. Same place, same bad channel. You have Grambling and Prairie View. So on Friday, they play at 6. On Saturday, they play at 1. And Sunday, they play at 4. I really love the way you strategically match this up for conference games to be able to have the two double matchups, if you would, double headers, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday spread out. Plenty of people have plenty of time to see a game, if not two games or a couple of games over the weekend. Talk about how you came up with that concept.
So I'll talk about the concept as well as update you on the latest and greatest as it relates to those matchups. So essentially what we had originally designed was a small HBCU event and a large HBCU event. And so Grambling State and Prairie View was designed to be that large HBCU event in the State Fair Diamond Classic. And we had reserved the Lone Star Diamond Classic for Wiley College and Texas College. And because both of those programs canceled their seasons, we were scrambling, trying to find a matchup to fill that event. And so we had to go back a couple of times to Southern University to see if they would participate. The second time was a charm. At the pushing of Coach James at Pine Bluff, him being close friends with Torrey Hunter, we were at his restaurant hosting a planning meeting, and he said, Hill, I really want to revisit us participating in the event. And so we did, and everything fell into place. And so that's how we got Southern University and Pine Bluff to fill in the gaps in the Lone Star Diamond Classic. And so the irony of that is this, of course, you know, we are living in a new norm in college sports with the pandemic, COVID-19. And so we just got word earlier today that Prairie View A&M, due to contact tracing, had a contact within their ball club of a positive test. And so that has impacted the State Fair Diamond Classic. And so we're going to make an official statement as soon as we get the word from Prairie View's Sports and Information Director as it relates to that situation. And it's just kind of the norm. A lot of, you know, Coach Riggins apologized, and I was like, Coach, there's no need to apologize, man. Worst case scenario, we'll be back next year with this event. But I am excited to say that we've talked to the various stakeholders. We're going to look at postponing the event and hopefully rescheduling that event at a later date and time within the next few weeks here in Frisco. And so we don't want to shortchange the fans. We're committed to Black college sports. We're committed to Black college baseball. So we're going to work with our stakeholders to see if we can get that game rescheduled. And if everything falls into place, we'll be back again for a second time here in Frisco. We kind of like it here. So we're very excited about it. But had we not been able to get that Southern matchup and Pine Bluff matchup in place, we'll be kind of stuck right now without an event. But so big shout outs to Southern University, big shout out to Arkansas Pine Bluff for accepting the invitation the second time around to participate, because you never know what the future holds. And so as a result, we have an opportunity to host an event this weekend because of them accepting those invitations.
Wow, that's big time. Thank you for breaking news here. A lot going on. And like you said, it's that world that we're living in with COVID-19. You just never know. But it says a lot about your ability to negotiate the space like that and how you were able to always think ahead about opportunities and the relationships that you're building with so many different people. I think it says a lot about your character, who you are, and more importantly, like you said, your commitment. Look forward, myself getting up that way, to see this in action and being able to partner with you in some type of way. But really excited about having you on to break that type of news. Last thing I want to talk to you about before we get up top of the hour and close out the show is tell us, for those that are interested in getting the tickets, how can they get tickets?
Oh man, tickets are available. Go to the Frisco Rough Riders website. You can Google Frisco Rough Riders tickets. This is a special event. Click on the special event, and there we are right there with tickets. We have weekend pass tickets that are $40. We have single day passes as well. So buy a ticket, not just for yourself, but buy one for a friend, family. Come on out to the ballpark. We got games. The updated schedule is Friday's game will be a 6 o'clock start time between Pine Bluff and Southern University. Then they'll come back on Saturday at 4 o'clock. And then again at noon on Sunday, I'm sorry. So 3 games this weekend, Southern versus Pine Bluff. We got some special presentations. We got Torrey Hunter throwing out the first pitch on Friday evening. And so it's going to be a great event, man. We're excited about kicking off Black college baseball in a big way in the DFW market. And like I say, if nothing else, especially with the day's events and watching the game last night, and I saw you guys having a conversation before I was called on. But I don't think enough is said. We definitely appreciate conferences like the Swac that forged ahead in order to make the seasons work. But more importantly, the shout out and recognition needs to go to the coaches and the players, because they've had to deal with an awful amount of, can you imagine being on pins and needles about a test every week, having tests multiple times a week, and on top of all of this, just to compete, but they are student athletes, and so they're still having to suffer through all of this, as well as, make the grades in the classroom. So enough isn't said about these student athletes that have had to experience this and endure this. I'm pretty sure it'll make them better in life in dealing with certainly the challenges that will be facing them as they matriculate through life. But man, enough can't be said about these student athletes and these coaches, man. They've actually done a great job. Some of them have been bitten by the COVID bug and had to, deal with that piece, not compete. I'm dealing with SIAC programs, the SIAC, and this is no shot to the SIAC. Everything comes down to dollars and cents in some aspects. And so to cancel some of these postseason championships, I'm pretty sure they did not enter into those decisions lightly, but these teams still are left without some of these opportunities to put a cap onto their season. And so, we definitely want to be a part of that. And like I said, we got I can't make the announcement right now, but we definitely got one of our postseason events lined up. We're working on the other for baseball. And so, like I say, I want to be definitely a friend of this show. And hopefully I'll be back in a week or so to talk about what we got postseason wise. But we're making history, man.
Yeah, you got some breaking news like you did earlier in terms of what you have for postseason. Yeah, you'll be welcome back to the show. We like the news here, and if you're getting it done and providing opportunity, we certainly would do that. We're right up against the clock here, and so we're going to say thanks. We'll be catching up with you in terms of that breaking news. So as soon as you get that information, let us know. And as you perfectly said, can't agree enough with you in regards to just the kudos that go out to the players and the coaches that are going through this endearingly, such that fans like ourselves and the media, people like yourself in terms of event that are making things happen can get it done as much as possible. So very well said. With that, we want to say thank you for your time, and we look forward to you, as we know you got a very busy schedule trying to finalize a couple of things, and it sounds like you finalizing many things.
Quite a bit.
To the kicking things off as you did in Jacksonville, that was a great event. And like I said, you got things going on like this. Many more people are going to be involved in what you get done. Last thing I do want to say, for those that are not in town, that are going to bring young kids out there, it's open. You can watch it streaming. As you saw that, tune in the BCS network. One of the few places that you can get baseball games in the Swac stream. So this is not only a great event, but they're also streaming it for those that are not in the local market. So check that out. A lot of good things that Prentiss Hill is doing. So congratulations ahead of time, because I see a lot of magic in front of you due to your hard work.
Thank you, brothers. I look forward to working with you guys. You guys are doing a great job as well. Like I say, BCSN is doing a great job. We're proud of that contract. And like I say, we're proud to have an opportunity to come on your platform and talk about what we love near and dear, and that's Black college sports and Black college baseball.
No doubt.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Dr. Cavil, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. One last thing before we shut it off. Thank you for your time, Prentiss Hill. Let's go over this football poll ranking week 4. A couple of changes this week, so let me give it to you. Receiving votes this week is Delaware State Hornets, 1-1, 42 points. South Carolina State Bulldogs, 1-1, 61 points. Just outside of the top 5 is Alabama State Hornets with that big victory over Jackson State. They go to 1-1 on the season and 1-1 in the conference race at 62 points. Top 5 programs with one dropping out. South Carolina State Bulldogs drop out this week, bringing us to number 5. Southern Jaguars with their big win over Texas Southern go to 2-1. 2-1 overall, 71 points. They were not ranked, so they jump in the top 5. Number 4 is Prairie and Panthers, 2-0. Just like you heard with the baseball program, the football program was on the COVID protocol, so they were not able to play this week, but they remain. They actually dropped a spot, not playing last week, but they have one first place votes, 80 points. At number 3, you have Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions, 2-0. 2 first place votes with 91 points. They jump up a spot after their big victory over Grambling State, 2-0 on the season, as we said. And number 2, Jackson State Tigers. They fall out of the number 1 spot, 3-1, 2-1, with 4 first place votes, 109 points. Our new number 1 are back, I should say, regaining the number 1 ranking this week is Alabama A&M Bulldogs, 1-0 on the season, 5 first place votes, 110 points, 2 first place votes. With that, we're going to tease you with Charles and Mike. I see their look. They want some comments. They're going to have to wait. You all going to have to tune back in on Thursday as we give you our football weekend updates and reports.
Where did you get that poll?
On a poll rank. That's what we do. That's what we call.
Who did that poll?
Yeah, we got to talk about this Thursday.
We got to talk about that poll.
Oh, man, y'all don't want none of this. What are y'all talking about?
Man.
With that, that's Dr. Cavil's with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, Dean of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Coach Doc Gamble of Pine Bluff, our interview with Prentiss Hill, talking about the Baseball Diamond Classics that he's getting going on, and some breaking news that he shared with us, and possibly some breaking news in the next couple of weeks of postseason events he may be doing for some of the smaller HBCUs, if you would, operating at the NAIA Division II level. Check that out when we give you that news. That's going to be a classic matchup that you want to see. Again, we want to thank for you listening to Dr. Mills Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. Catch us on Sunday for our weekend edition as we give you a breakdown of what happened on Saturday in terms of the football landscape. We look forward to next week as we will discuss the latest in the news Thursday as well as next week. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyatta Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyatta Cavil. Dream big and continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Horse.
Mike.
Lecture.
Dismiss.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor.